Well, Colmeyer, welcome back to our final segment of the Davis Ford pregame show. Looks like we are on target to start way early today, so let's rip through our Coca-Cola starting lineups for both ICC and Coahoma. Visitors for Clarksdale will have this lineup in game. Right leading off the center fielder, Louise Colon. Batting second, the second baseman, Mario Brown. Batting third, the catcher, Hudson Ross. Batting cleanup, the third baseman, Matt Bradley. Batting fifth, the John Wells. Batting sixth, the first baseman, Tay McGregory. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Corey O'Brien. Batting eighth, the right fielder, TJ Knowles. And batting ninth, the left fielder, Lindsay. That's your Coca-Cola starting lineup for Coahoma. For ICC, the lineup looks like this. Luke Gibbs leading off and playing short. Batting second, Drew Wheeler. He'll play left field. Batting third and playing third, Ethan Gill. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, Andy Bowman. Batting fifth, the catcher, Hayden Williams. Batting sixth, the DH, Austin Welch. Batting seventh, Gable Butler. He'll play center today in game one. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Bryce Williams. And batting ninth, the right fielder, Russ Johnson. And on the mound will be right-hander Nick Brooks. And that wraps up your Davis Ford pregame show. We're going to keep it right here and get yourself a nice ice-cold Coca-Cola. It is game time for ICC Indian Baseball here on FM 95 Sports, also on FM95radio.com, as well as the video streaming at LetsGoICC.com. And the First American National Bank first pitch from Brooks to Cologne is a ball called, so 1-0 the count. It'll be Cologne, Brown, and Ross. We'll take a look at the defensive alignment in just a bit as this one's fouled out of play to the right of us. Defensively for ICC in game one, this defensive alignment brought to you by our friends at Coke. In the outfield from left to right, you'll have Wheeler, Butler, and Johnson. Around the infield from third to first, you've got Gill, Gibbs, Bryce Williams, and Bowman. Pitches in the dirt, 2-1 the count. Behind the plate is Hayden Williams, and on the hill is Brooks. And Nick Brooks, a transfer from East Mississippi. In fact, a year ago, he threw a no-hitter for East Mississippi against eventual state champion East Central. There's a slow roller down the third base line. Gill charging, sidearms it, and throws a beauty over to get the speedy Cologne for the first out here in the top of the first inning. And time to bring my partner Adam Gore into the broadcast. And Adam, I appreciate your help today, and welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, and taking a little late trying to get everything set up with the broadcast, but we're up and rolling. So hopefully get ready to see a pair of wins today out of the Indians.
Let's see what Brooks can do here. That pitch is low to the left-handed hitting Mario Brown, the second baseman. You weren't late at all. They just started the game about 8 minutes early.
Okay, that makes you feel better.
That's exactly right. So here is the 1-0 pitch, popped up right side, and this will drift out of play to Mario Brown with Hudson Ross on deck. We're just underway here in the top of the first between ICC and Coahoma. And we'll give you the numbers on Brooks in just a bit. Has seen some action today. Has seen some action so far this year. 3 appearances. There's a slow roller back to Nick. And he'll underhand flip it over to get Mario Brown for the second out here in the top of the first.
Now batting, number 44, Hudson Ross.
Brooks, who wears number 10 on the back of his jersey, he's 5'8", 185, a sophomore, right-hander from Starkville High School. As I mentioned, played last year at EMCC. This is Brooks's 5th appearance. I beg your pardon. I said 3 appearances so far going into today, but this is his 5th appearance. Fastball upstairs, swing and a miss, strike one to Ross, 0-1 the count, in a scoreless top of the first. Brooks, in his first 4 appearances, has thrown 7 1/3 innings, given up 7 hits, 6 runs. Only 3 of them have been earned. He has struck out 3, has walked 7, does not have a decision, and a 3.68 earned run average. That's the look at the line so far this year out of Nick Brooks. Brought to you by Sodexo. That's ICC Dining Services. Here's the 1-1 fouled toward the Coahoma
dugout, which is on the first base side here at Roy Crescent Field. And the count is now 1-2. Nobody on, 2 outs, top of the first, no score between ICC and Coahoma. Lots of sunshine here. A little cooler weather, but there's a swing and a miss. A strikeout for Brooks, his first of the afternoon, brought to you by Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. And more importantly, throw a donut up on the scoreboard for Coahoma in the top of the first, brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. 3 up and 3 down for Coahoma. ICC coming to bat in the bottom of the first. No score between the Indians and the Tigers.
Sports coverage of ICC is sponsored by the McDonald's of Monroe, Coahoma, Chickasaw, Lee, and Pontotoc counties, Davis Ford, Coke, First American National Bank, Coahoma Community College, and Auto, Air, and Electric.
Will Colmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. We head to the bottom of the first. No score between ICC and Coahoma. James Puckett will be our photographer this afternoon. James will be running the camera for our video streaming at LetsGoICC.com. It'll be Gibbs, Wheeler, and Gill facing King, the right-hander. C.J. King making his 4th start of the year. He's got a 1-2 record and a 3.72 earned run average. And we'll see what King can do here on the hill facing Gibbs, Wheeler, and Gill. And if any of those guys reach base, we'll have Andy Bowman at plate appearance. First pitch swinging. Gibbs popped up third base side, and it will drift out of play. 0-1 the count. Gibbs still leads the team in RBIs with 15, Adam. His batting average, though, has dipped as of late.
Yeah, you know, he came off the start of the season really hot for us right now. Teams kind of figured out how to pitch to him in that leadoff spot. So hopefully he can adjust and make some good things happen.
Pitch is low and outside, and the count is even at 1-1. No score between ICC and Coahoma, the first of 2. As I mentioned, a sun-splashed afternoon here in Fulton. A little cooler temps, and it'll continue to get cooler. Right now at game time, it's 55 degrees. Not real typical for late March.
No, Mother Nature can't make up her mind what she wants to do this year.
Here's the pitch to Gibbs, popped up down the third base line in foul territory and now drifting out of play. And the count is even at 2-2 to Gibbs here in the bottom of the first. Gibbs, despite that batting average dropping to 254, still has an impressive on-base percentage of .361. He's 18 out of 71 at the plate this year, has a home run, and as I mentioned, a team best 15 runs batted in. Off-speed pitch low and outside, and the count is full at 3-2.
Let's say a good thing and a bad thing, Will, when your leadoff guy is leading the team in runs batted in.
Yes. Now, his teammates are catching up. Wheeler has 14, Gill has 13, and there's a strike 3.
Yeah, swing and strike. Get jammed him with a inside fastball. Couldn't fight it off or foul it off, and goes down swinging.
So King with his first strikeout of the afternoon, brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton, right across from the David C. Cole Student Services Building. Doug Leslie, the owner, in his second year. His sister Melissa runs the show there. And glad to report Doug is feeling better. Was not feeling well and over the weekend, and there's a foul straight back by Wheeler. 1-1 the count with 1 out here in the scoreless bottom of the first.
Well, we're going to have a pretty fast game if this pitcher keeps up the pace. He's one of those, he gets it in the glove and he's ready to throw.
It's just now 3-0-1, and this is a pop-up down the third base line. It's going to drift out of play. We're already in the bottom of the first, one out, and this is about the time the game was supposed to start. So it had a fast tone to start with, and let's see if it keeps that pace up. But you're right, King wants that ball, and once he gets in his glove, he's ready to fire.
He's ready to chunk it once he gets it, and so that's going to be one thing the batters may want to keep in mind. Step out of the box a little while, throw him out of his rhythm, and especially if he starts to sort of find his stride.
Wheeler at 1-2 the count. Curveball low and outside, 2-2 the count. Drew hitting at .338, 2 home runs. He's driven in 14. Those 2 home runs tie him with the man on deck, Ethan Gill, for the team lead. ICC with just 6 home runs this year. But they are hitting the Indians at .304. That curveball way upstairs. In fact, Wheeler had to duck out of the way.
Yeah, he didn't want to curveball that time. Didn't quite pull the string on it to be able to get it to drop down.
Wheeler's been hit twice already this year. And there's strike 3. Wheeler thought it was ball 4. He had already flipped the bat. And there's back-to-back strikeouts for King. Both brought to you by Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton.
We did it a couple of times in that home series and really need to get something going here early, see if we can't spark a 2-out rally. And Ethan's the type of guy that can get it going for us.
Well, he really is, and he's having an outstanding year, hitting at .377. He's 23 of 61 at the plate. Those 23 hits tied with Wheeler for second best on the team to the man on deck. And that's Bowman's 24 hits. Gill hits from the right side, the sophomore from Pontotoc. There's strike called.
Yeah, this guy's like, he's on the corners today, and the umpire's going to give them to him, so Indians have to come out and be ready to reach for some pitches.
Fastball upstairs. It's now 1-2 the count. We got to get to our Rick's Picks the Click, brought to you by Rick's Barbecue in Fulton. We'll see what Gill does here with a 1-2. Swing and a miss in the dirt. The catcher will have to throw it down to first, which Ross does, and so how about King? He strikes out the side for ICC. All 3 strikeouts brought to you by Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. Of course, they're known for their barbecue, but also some pretty mean barbecue nachos as well. We go to the second inning. No score between ICC and Coahoma here on FM 95 Sports. We go to the top of the second. Will Comar alongside Adam Gore. No score between ICC and Coahoma, and Nick Brooks in the second inning will face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. That's Rappa, Oglesby, and McGregory. First pitch is a ball to Matt Rappa, the third baseman. Both pitchers very impressive in the first inning. 3 up and 3 down for both squads. This one's fouled out of play to the right of us. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, kind of a shocking start, I guess you can say. Figured the guys to be sort of keyed up. Rick really focused on those 2 losses from last year. Just 3 up, 3 down, quick inning, all of them striking out for the Indians in the bottom half. So hopefully the bats come alive in the bottom half of the order for us.
There's a swing and a miss on a wave. Brooks took a little something off of that one, and the count is now 1-2 to Rappa. Yeah, I mentioned it on the Davis Ford pregame show. You hate to call these must-win opportunities, but there's a swing and a miss in the dirt. Hayden Williams can't find it now. Fires down to first just in time to Bowman to get Rappa. So a strikeout to start the second inning for Brooks, brought to you by Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton.
Yeah, good job by Hayden that time. He panicked for a second, but when he got the ball, he didn't force it. He didn't rush it. He made the good throw and got the out.
Here's the right-handed hitting DH, Jonathan Oglesby, the DH. He sends a fly ball to deep left field, back to the wall, and it is gone. A home run by Oglesby on the first pitch from Nick Brooks. And the Coahoma Tigers have taken the early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, he was sitting on breaking ball that time, exactly what he got. And, man, he just sent that one in. You knew when he hit it, you heard me say that's trouble, and it was gone.
Yeah, and you will see there is no wind here at Roy Crescent Field, at least right now. It's been last couple of days pretty windy, but right now that flag over the center field wall is limp. So that was all Jonathan Oglesby. Here's the left-handed hitting first baseman, Tay McGregory. with Coahoma now leading 1-0. McGregory hits from the left side with Corey O'Brien on deck. That fastball is high, 1-1 the count.
It's going to be interesting to see what Brooks does, you know, giving up that solo home run here in the top of the second, see how well he can answer with this batter.
Pitch is low, 2-1 the count, a little outside. And you're exactly right. He's the guy that transferred from East Mississippi. We documented that on our Davis Ford pregame show, and he had his moments last year for East Mississippi. That pitch is a strike called, 2-2 the count. Threw a no-hitter against East Central, and we all know the Warriors went on to win the state championship last year.
Absolutely. So, you know, the kid, he's got good stuff. You know, it's just a fact of battling and getting some bats to give him some runs to work with.
That pitch is in the dirt, some breaking stuff, and the count is full at 3-2. We're in the top of the second, 1-0 Coahoma. That home run just moments ago by Oglesby, the only batter that's actually reached base against the two pitchers. And there's ball 4 upstairs, so Brooks had him. And then McGregory was patient at the plate, and then gets the first walk of the afternoon. And that's been kind of the Achilles heel, if you will, Adam, on Brooks this year. He started the day with 8 walks in 7 1/3 innings.
Yeah, and let's just do the math on that. That's not good. And, you know, it's one thing he really needs to kind of control. And you take a look at the way he throws. I mean, he's just raw. He just loads up and chunks it. And a lot of times fastballs tend to tail high on you. You lose a little bit of control on that. But a good pitch there is he just came right back and just heated that one down the middle of the plate.
Yeah, good fastball with a little extra giddy up. 0-1 the count to the right-handed hitting shortstop Corey O'Brien. Runner at first, 1 out here in the top of the second. Tigers lead our Indians 1-0. There's a strike call, 0-2 the count. Knowles is the right fielder. He is on deck. McGregor is the runner at first. Not much of a lead. Being held by Bowman. That curveball is high. 1-2 the count with 1 out here in the top of the second. Brooks will check the runner. Pitch is low and outside. Nice job by Hayden Williams knocking that one down, because that had visions of wild pitch written all over that.
Yeah, it didn't have enough speed on it to really sort of bounce off the brick and come back to him. So a good job of getting in front of that one, because runner would have easily got to second if he didn't block that one up.
Got to keep that force alive. Here's the pitch. Fastball high. And they're jumping out to an 0-2 count. O'Brien now has worked it full at 3-2 with 1 out here in the top of the second. Oglesby home run has made it 1-0 Coahoma. Ball 4 high, and back-to-back walks, and both times, Adam, we had Brooks ahead of the count, but they're able to coax the walks, and so they got runners at first and second with 1 out, and here's the right fielder, T.J. Knowles.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, each time he got ahead in that count, he was just trying to get slowed up and throw it a little too hard. It looks like now we're going to get some action in the bullpen for the Indians going down the side. But, yeah, dangerous spot right now for the Indians, already trailing 1-0 here with 1 out and runners on first and second.
There's a check swing, strike called, 0-1 the count to Knowles, who hits from the right side. Looks like Tucker Aiken is going to start warming up down in the bullpen for ICC. That's down that left field line. There's a ball. 1-1 the count.
Really like to see something just rolled up the middle right now, see if we can't turn 2 and get out of this jam with minimum damage done.
Well, I'll tell you what, Saturday, I know you were down with softball at East Mississippi, but Luke Gibbs made some tremendous plays defensively at shortstop, and that one's high. 2-1 the count. And I think, yep, here comes Justin Bryant. I was just getting ready to say, I think we needed a little conversation on the mound, and here comes Justin Bryant, the former ICC All-American. Had a couple nice years at Auburn as well. We'll take a 30-second timeout. It's 1-0 Coahoma here in the top of the second.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Trustmark Bank in Tupelo, Fulton, and Columbus. Trustmark is a Mississippi-based bank. Yes, it's a large regional bank, but managed locally
Can I get you to turn Adam up one notch, please?
Mm-hmm.
She was the oldest, largest, and most active religious club on campus, serving ICC students since 1954.
Will Kohlmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. James Puckett is our photographer here this afternoon at Let's Go ICC. Tina Harlow, our studio engineer at FM 95 Studios in Amory. Justin Bryan is back in the ICC dugout after conversing with his pitcher, Nick Brooks. Brooks will check both runners. There's a fastball, swing and a miss, and it's now 2-2 the count to Knowles.
Much better stride that time out of Brooks. He looked like he's been short striding it, allowing the pitchers to rise up on him.
1-0 Coahoma here in the top of the second. That pitch is low, and the count is full at 3-2. Well, we were off to a fast start today, but now this top of the second.
That's on me. That's on me.
That's all right. A strikeout to start the second, and this one's a pop-up. Will it stay in play? Hayden Williams is trying to shield the sun, and he will make the catch.
Well, I was concerned about James there for a second because it was in line with him and like it was tailing back a little bit, but I think James is ready to run.
I think he is too. That's Morville. You know, Puckett went to Morville, and you know, that's baseball is just embedded into every student.
Yes, very true.
2 outs now. That helps out the good guys here in the top of the second. The runners obviously have to stay at first and second. Here's the number 9 here, Caleb Lindsay, the left fielder. He fouls this one out of play just to the right of us here in the ICC Alumni Association broadcast booth. 0-1 the count. Lindsay is the 6th batter to face Brooks here in the top of the second. Fastball low and outside. As I mentioned, Rappa started off this top of the second with a strikeout, but then Oglesby with a solo home run to left, and then back-to-back walks to McGregory and O'Brien. Then Knowles just moments ago popped up in foul territory to Hayden Williams, our catcher. And that pitch is low, 1-1 the count.
It looked a pretty good little pitch that time, just a little low for the umpire's liking.
2-1 the count to Lindsay. Hits from the right side. He grounds this one foul down the third base line, and the count is even at 2. 2-2 the count. 2 outs here in the top of the second. 1-0 Coahoma over ICC. The first of 2 this afternoon. And as I mentioned, sunny and 55 right now at game time, but that temperature will fall throughout the course of the afternoon and into the evening hours. That pitch is low and in the dirt, and that count is full at 3-2. And with 2 outs now, Adam, that's a big pitch right there, because now with the count full, both runners at first and second will be off with the pitch.
I don't know if you may not try to sneak your first baseman in, see if you can't get him going on motion and throw him out.
Yeah, because that runner at first, O'Brien, has a huge lead, and there is strike.
There we go.
3 called to Lindsay, and that's the 3rd strikeout of the afternoon for Brooks, all brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue here in Fulton. But in the inning, Coahoma gets a run on a hit. It was Oglesby's home run. There were no errors, and 2 were left. We've played an inning and a half, and Coahoma leads ICC 1-0. To the bottom of the second, 1-0 Coahoma over ICC. It'll be the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters for ICC here in the bottom of the second. That's Bowman, Williams, and Welch. A strike call to Andy Bowman. 0-1 the count. 1-0 Coahoma over ICC here in the second. And we'll get to a Trustmark Bank scoreboard update in just a bit, right after this pitch to Bowman. Curveball is outside. And the count is even at 1-1. How about our first Trustmark Bank scoreboard update of the afternoon, Adam?
Well, just to show you how competitive the North is this season, unranked Northeast is leading number 10, Mississippi Delta, 10-4 in the bottom of the 7th.
There's a foul ball down the third base line, and it kind of falls right there in that Bermuda Triangle between the third baseman, the shortstop, and the left fielder. They're all converging in foul territory, and it fell, fortunately for ICC, right in the middle of them. So a strike to Bowman only, not a pop-out, and it's 1-2 the count. But you mentioned, yes, very competitive with Northeast. I'll tell you what, Mississippi Delta looked like the real deal the other day in sweeping us here at Roy Crescent Field. That was our last broadcast here on FM 95. Curveball low and outside. Count is even at 2-2.
Yeah, Mississippi Delta brought back a lot of guys from last year's team that made a pretty good run in the playoffs and added some transfers in this year. So they're a very experienced baseball team.
There's Bowman continuing his hot hitting with a base hit up the middle. Adam, this is hard to believe, but just a week and a half ago when we did our Northeast, that broadcast up there in Boonville, it was not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, Andy Bowman was hitting just 250. Just 3 doubleheaders later, he's got his average up to 381, and then with a base hit right there, it's getting close to 385.
Yeah, he's been on a tear of late. Nominating for Player of the Week, unfortunately, just didn't get that. But, man, he has put up some impressive numbers.
He really has. And there's a liner down the left field line. It's going to be a fair ball. Extra bases for Hayden Williams. Rick Collier is going to ask Andy Bowman to try to score all the way from first. The cutoff, and there will not be a throw. And Hayden Williams delivers an RBI double down the left field line, and we're tied at 1.
That's what we needed right there. After giving up that solo home run, we needed a quick answer on the other end. Nice hit that time by Bowman, and then an excellent base running. Bowman hit the Jets as soon as he left, and Rick did a good job of letting him know about halfway between second and third, hey, turn it and let it go. And that's what he did. So a good job being aggressive on the base pass to tie this one up.
And that for Hayden Williams, his first double as an ICC Indian. The freshman out of Amory started the day hitting at 417, so he's now 21 for 49, so it's now over 420 batting average, and that was his 10th ribby of the year. And speaking of Amory and Monroe County, here's another Monroe County native, Austin Welch, the DH. He's from Hamilton, showing bunt. Bunts it foul, 0-1 the count.
Yeah, that would have been a good if he could have got that one down, because he showed the bunt late and the defense didn't have time to react. And he's got good enough speed that he could have legged that one out, because the third baseman didn't really get a good jump on it. So unfortunately, though, that one rolled foul on us and couldn't steal a base hit.
Welch hitting at 293, no home runs. He's driven in 9. Hits from the right side with the runner at second is Hayden Williams. We're tied at 1 thanks to Hayden Williams' RBI double just moments ago. Curveball popped up right side of the infield. Calling for it is McGregory in on the grass, and the first baseman makes the catch for the first out.
Up next to the plate for your Indians, number 3, Gable Butler.
And here's the center fielder, Gable Butler, with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. We're tied at 1. Be thinking, Adam, on who your Rick's Pick the Click will be here in Game 1 for ICC, brought to you by Rick's Barbecue in Fulton. I'm going to ask you who you want after this pitch to Butler with Bryce Williams on deck. The runner at second is Hayden Williams, showing bunt, and Butler fouls this one toward the ICC on-deck circle. 0-1 the count. Who will be your Rick's Pick to Click here in Game 1?
I want to cheat and say Andy Bowman. He's already scored the run for us, had the hit that got this going for us. But, no, that's who I would have went with anyway, because he's been on a tear here of late.
Well, I think, like you said, you nominated him this week. He was 10 of 15, I think, last week. So that's a good Rick's Pick to Click. And there's a bouncer foul down the first base line. Now, that's not really cheating, because you take the hottest hitter. Now, cheating for Colmeyer would be picking Hayden Williams with that RBI double.
There you go.
And he's already hitting 417 this year.
So he's played extremely well. Also, he's been one of those guys that's been able to drive in a lot of runs for us and has really stepped into that Game 1 catcher role extremely well.
Well, let me just slide in there then. I'm going to take Hayden Williams as my Rick's Pick to Click. That one in the dirt, and a nice job by Hayden Williams. Saw that ball in the dirt right away, and, I mean, he didn't even hesitate. That shows you the wheels that Hayden Williams has.
Yeah, especially for a catcher. You know, a lot of times you see people courtesy run for the catcher in that situation, but Hayden does a good job of coming out. You look at him, he's a tall guy. You know, he can cover a lot of ground in a hurry. So a good job of recognizing the ball in the dirt and taking off whenever he did.
So here's a runner at third, and now Butler sends a fly ball to center field. It will be playable on the warning track, just a step off the off the wall, and meant that is well deep enough for Hayden Williams to trot home. And so a deep fly ball to center field. Butler almost got that one out of here. That sac fly, though, will make it 2-1 ICC. And that sacrifice fly brought to you by the Baptist Student Union here on the Fulton campus. Chris Burrows has been in charge of the BSU since 1996.
Yeah, like you said, the wind not blowing today. If any wind could have helped that one out because he took it to the warning track.
And here's Bryce Williams, first pitch swinging, sends one out in the right field, had a base hit written all over it, but a great diving catch by Brown, the second baseman, as he just let his body, he just stretched out, made a tremendous catch. And that's a web gem to no doubt about it, brought to you by the National Guard. But the good news is ICC gets 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits. There were no errors and no one was left. We go to the third. ICC leads Coahoma 2-1.
Love it in print.
Colmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. We head to the top of the third. ICC leads it 2-1. It'll be the top of the order, and a bunt attempt fouled down the third base line by Louise Colon, the center fielder. On deck, it'll be Mario Brown and then Hudson Ross.
That just sounds like a baseball name.
Luis Colon?
It does.
Absolutely. He's from Gulfport, but definitely has a nice ring to it. Yes, a freshman from Gulfport. Hits from the right side. He bounced to the third baseman, Gill. There's a line drive, and Brooks nabs it at the pitcher position for the first out here in the third, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Mario Brown.
And, Will, we do have a final now, a Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. Northeast upsets number 10, Mississippi Delta, 10-4.
Wow, how about that? Our first final of the afternoon.
On the road at Delta.
This one's fouled out of play. Owen won the count to Brown. So Northeast over Mississippi Delta 10-4. Our first Trustmark Bank scoreboard update, at least first final here of the afternoon. There's a line drive to center field. That's going to be way over the head of Butler. Butler came in a step, and it's going to go all the way to the wall, and it's going to be at least 2. They're going to try for 3, and Mario Brown has himself a triple. He hit it right on the nose at him, but Gable Butler made one step in, and by that time it was all over.
Yeah, and the wind's picked up now, so the ball was kind of tailing down. Look, it kind of did a corkscrew and raised back up in the air on Butler. And once Butler, as you said, committed that first step, he was playing catch-up after that. That's the reason why you're taught 2 steps back and then make your run forward.
A little baseball 101 out of Gore, brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And there's a strike. Owen won the count with a runner at third. So there's a lot of ways for Coahoma to tie this game with only 1 out. And the number 3 hitter, Ross, is at the plate. Now, he struck out to end the first. Brooks does have 3 Ks and 2 1/3. There's a strike called. 0-2 the count.
I'll tell you, the guy on third is getting an extremely big lead over there. So don't be surprised we might not see a snap throw or something here pretty soon.
I know, but Tori's over there.
They're in at the corners. Popped up, right side, short right field. Coming on is the right fielder, Russ Johnson. He makes the catch, and it was not deep enough to allow Brown, even with his good speed, a chance to tag, and so there's now 2 outs.
And that was a smart play by Bryce Williams because he had his momentum going away from the plate, and you see him put his glove down. That indicates you. That way Butler can come in with his momentum going home, just in case he did try to score. He'd have the throwing momentum to go ahead and rocket it at home.
Okay.
You're spitting out all of your baseball 101s in this half inning, brought to you by McDonald's, but that's what you get with Gore. More with Gore. Why isn't there a hashtag more with Gore? There needs to be one.
There needs to be one.
More with Gore.
I'll consult Brendan Speck on that.
Okay. Get back with me on that one. Owen won the count to Matt Rappo. He struck out his first time. And there's a strike called. 0-2 the count with 2 outs here in the top of the third. ICC leads it 2-1. As Coahoma has just 2 hits now. They got the home run by Oglesby last inning. And then that triple, there's the pitch is high to Mario Brown earlier in this third. He's still at third base, Brown, and the count is at 1-2 with 2 outs to the cleanup hitter, Matt Rappa. There's a swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. Good job by Brooks to battle back after giving up that triple to able to get this out of this inning, get out of the inning with no damage done.
That strikeout, the 4th of the afternoon, brought to you by Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. And throw another donut up on the scoreboard there in left field for Coahoma in the top of the third, brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop. That's Alex Williamson's place here in downtown Fulton. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 was left. We go to the bottom of the third. ICC leads it 2-1.
ICC Athletic is sponsored by the McDonald's of Monroe, Itawamba, Chickasaw, Lee, and Pontotoc counties. Trustmark Bank, Larry Clark Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac, Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop, the National Guard, the Daily Journal, and Python's Pizza.
And the first pitch here in the bottom of the third was bunted foul down the third base line by Russ Johnson. It'll be Johnson, Gibbs, and Wheeler for ICC, the number 9, 1-2 hitters. There's a curveball catching the inside corner, and it's 0-2 the count to Russ Johnson, the freshman from Hatley. Fastball upstairs, and the count is now 1-2 the count. 2-1 Itawamba over Coahoma here in game 1 of the doubleheader. Russ Johnson, 6 for 24 at the plate so far this year. Now the count is even at 2-2. So he's hitting a smooth 250, no home runs. He's driven in 3. But despite a 250 batting average, he has a 419 on base percentage. This one's popped up down the right field line. This one will slice out of play into the parking lot. And the count remains even at 2-2. Johnson on the year has 2 doubles for his only extra base hits. He's driven in 9. There's a ground ball past the diving third baseman, Rappa. But a nice job by the left fielder, Lindsey, coming over quickly and keeps Johnson at first. But then the relay to try to get Johnson at first.
He got away from him.
Got away from the first baseman, and that allows Johnson to go to second. I mean, Johnson had the base hit. The left fielder made the throw in, so I'm marking on my score sheet Russ Johnson single. And then I look back up again, they throw it.
E7.
E7. So the first error of the afternoon by the left fielder, Lindsey.
You got to make them pay for errors in this type of ball game, especially when you get out of a jam like you did the last inning. Be a big momentum swing here if they can put some runs on the board.
That's the first error, so give Johnson a hit to get to first, and an error by Lindsey allows him to get in scoring position. Here's Luke Gibbs. First pitch swinging, popped it up. On the infield, calling for it is the third baseman, but he dropped it. Rappa dropped it, and Gibbs reaches base. So another, did he touch it?
He didn't touch it.
Oh,
he
okay.
Lost it in the air. Clear sky like this, a lot of times the ball tends to fade into the blue whenever it gets that high up in the air. And by the time you find it, it's on top of you. And it was about half a foot off his glove and couldn't adjust to it.
Well, if it didn't hit the glove, obviously a mental error, but you can't give him an error. So that for Gibbs might be the thing to get him out of that. Sometimes it takes something like that to get you out of a little bit of a slump there. And so Gibbs gets a base hit. So he's at first. Johnson is the runner at second for ICC. Nobody out, and here's Drew Wheeler. He was caught looking his first time. Wheeler showing bunt, and bunt's a beauty down the third base line, and I don't think they're going to get a play because the first baseman, McGregor, was charging. The second baseman took second, and there was nobody at first, so Drew Wheeler gets a bunt single. And the bases are loaded, and nobody out here in the bottom of the third.
And that brings out the Coahoma coach, and rightfully so, man. That was just poorly executed. The ball clearly bunted down the third baseline. First baseman comes charging in. I still don't think they would have got him out if he's still at first because Wheeler's got pretty good wheels on him. But right now you see Coahoma knows this game is a pitch or two away from getting broke wide open in this situation. So, got to be careful. No outs. Bases loaded here. Indians leading it 2-1.
And that's Matt Killebrew. Matt, of course, Adam and I both know him. He's the public public relations director / sports information director down there, and he played some D1 baseball before he was injured. So he's the part-time pitching coach for Coahoma. So he went out there to discuss a few matters.
Does a great job out there. Really appreciate the photos he sent us of our softball games the other day. Lady Indians went down and got a sweep at Coahoma. So jack of all trades out there.
Yes, he does it all, and we appreciate it. He's in his first year there at Coahoma. And here's Ethan Gill, who's in his second year of starring at third base for Itawamba. Curveball and a beauty by King, and a strike called. 0-1 the count to Gill, who struck out to end the first.
Yeah, this is a guy you want to be careful on throwing those curveballs, too, because if you hang one up, he can part one in Tish.
I tell you what, Gill has had himself a super sophomore season. How about 377 starting the day, and he pops this one up. It'll drift out of play. 0-2 the count. Gill, 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in. He's got 8 doubles to go along with those 2 home runs. So he leads the team with 10 extra base hits. He has a 377 batting average, an on-base percentage of 506, and a slugging percentage of 607. Curveball, and Gill pops this one up right side. It will drift out of play, and the count remains 0-2. But how about those kind of numbers 22 games into the season? 377 batting average, 506 on base percentage, and 607 slugging percentage.
Pretty much picking up where he left off his freshman season. He really got hot towards the end of the year, and it's just carried over now to the sophomore season.
With Andy Bowman on deck, that pitch is in the dirt. Again, the curveball. Nice job by the catcher Ross keeping that in front of him.
Well, this is right where the Indians want to be. You got Gill and Bowman. Both these guys can hit for some power, and also can, pretty good hitters, as you said a while ago. So Indians right where they need to be to try to blow this thing open.
1-2 the count to Gill. Bases are loaded. Curveball low and outside. 2-2 the count. With nobody out, there's nowhere to put Ethan Gill. With Bowman on deck, Hayden Williams in the hole. Of course, Bowman and Williams combined for our run that we scored the first run of the game. That was last inning. That curveball is low and outside, and again Ross knocks it down, and now the count is full at 3-2 to Ethan Gill.
Yeah, credit Ross on that one. You got a breaking ball pitcher who tends to throw it in the dirt, trying to get guys chasing. With bases loaded, it's a tough situation to be in.
Here's the 3-2 to Gill, line deep to left field, back to the wall, and she's gone. A grand slam by Ethan Gill. And Gill, with his 3rd home run of the year, makes it 6-1 Indians.
Like I said, you don't want to hang a curveball up to him because he can make you pay for it, and that was on a rope. And a big grand slam there by Gill.
And Gill getting a lot of love from his teammates, and why not? Ethan with his team best 3rd home run now of the year. He's driven in 17, which leads the team. And that just adds to that 377 batting average, 506 on base percentage, and 607 slugging percentage. And the good guys now have scored 6 unanswered runs and lead at 6-1.
And he had really good timing on that one because his mom just walked in the ballpark.
And this one's popped up by Bowman. Did Mom get a chance to see it? Okay. They got here just in the nick of time for watching the son hit a grand slam. 0-1 the count to Bowman. He got a base hit and scored his first time up. This one's fouled straight back. 0-2 the count.
Well, that's the 4th grand slam combined with the softball and baseball team in the past 6 games.
Wow, that's a nice nugget there.
Thank you.
I mean, the Lady Indians have exploded lately. We hit a grand slam last week in baseball.
Well, Lady Indians have 3 of the 4.
Okay.
Kara Hopper hit one down at Coahoma, and then that one there by Gill, and then we had 2 in 1 inning. Maybe it's 8 games. 8 games.
Okay.
Still.
That's still impressive. 1-2 the count, a swing and a miss. And a rarity, folks. Andy Bowman has been retired. That has not happened too often the last 2 weeks. That strikeout, the 4th of the afternoon for King. And that's all brought to you by Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. Of course, you can't go wrong with the barbecue, but they've got some good nachos, barbecue nachos at the Pit Stop Barbecue here in Fulton. There's a strike. 0-1 the count to Hayden Williams. He had an RBI double his first time up. Came around to score on Gable Butler's sac fly. Check swing, roller to short. Charging is O'Brien. His throw is in time. Gets Hayden Williams by a step for the second out here in the third.
Now batting, number 26.
Yeah, just a little excuse me swing that time and poked it forward, and good job legging it out. I mean, he hustled down the line, and bad throw. I mean, it was put the shortstop in a tough position. He could have possibly legged that one out.
Well, there's no question with Hayden Williams and his speed, he makes things interesting. And as you mentioned, as a catcher, that'll bode well for him as he continues his collegiate career. 0-1 the count to Austin Welch. He popped up to the first baseman McGregory his first time up. And a swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2 the count to Welch, who started the day, no home runs, driven in 9 with a .293 batting average. He's now 12 of 42. This one's lined sharply into the Coahoma dugout. And I'm telling you what, I saw a lot of maroon and gray getting out of the way.
So scattered in a hurry that time.
That was just a BB that Welch was way behind, and that fastball went right, a line drive into that dugout. But everybody seems to be okay. This one's popped up to the right side. Into the right field area, drifting toward the line is Knowles. He makes the catch, and that takes care of ICC in the third, but not before the Indians score 4 on the Gill Grand Slam. On 4 hits, there was an error, and no one was left. We played 3, and ICC leads it 6-1 over Coahoma. Colmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. We head to the top of the 4th. ICC leads at 6-1. Nick Brooks back on the mound, and the first pitch swinging, and a shot to the right center field gap. It's going to go all the way to the wall for Jonathan Oglesby, and Oglesby will have a stand-up double to start the 4th. Jonathan was the guy that sent a pitch over the left field wall to make it 1-0, and now his next time up, he goes to the right center field gap.
Absolutely. He's got Brooks figured out. He did both those on the first couple of pitches. I think actually the home run came on the first pitch, and then that double to the gap came on the first pitch. So he's seeing the ball well, and he's picking up on what Brooks is trying to do.
Here's Tay McGregory. He walked his first time up, and that is the 3rd hit given up today by Brooks, and all of them have been extra bases. Not one single yet. A home run to Oglesby in the 2nd, a triple to Brown in the 3rd, and then a double just moments ago to Oglesby here in the 4th. 2-0 the count. Our good friend Braden Bishop will be busy tomorrow over at Tupelo High School. We'll talk about what's happening at Tupelo High with an ICC connection after this pitch. The 2-0 is fouled straight back. 2-1 the count to McGregory, as Tupelo High and ICC will continue a connection that this partnership has gone for many, many years. Adam will tell you who's going to be signing with ICC tomorrow.
Absolutely. It's going to be Ty Wheeler will be joining the ICC family, Braden Bishop. And all those people out at Tupelo do a great job promoting their student athletes. And he said he'll be glad to cover that for us tomorrow. Also, just a real quick shout out, Zach Randolph sent us a tweet, said he got to see a little bit of that Grand Slam action in between classes watching on his iPad.
Oh, way to go, Zach. This one's fouled down the left field line. We love us some Zach Randolph, don't we?
Absolutely. Great guy. And, a really good story because he came here with no – really ICC was his option. He came in, and he was one of those that, he came in, did a lot of work, and bought into what Coach Collier and at the time Coach Williamson wanted him to do. And 2 years later, you look at him now, he's starting at catcher at Mississippi State. Yeah, for the team that played for a national championship just one season ago against the Bruins from UCLA. This one's squib foul down the third base line. The count is even still at 2-2 to McGregory, with Oglesby at second here in the top of the 4th. 6-1 ICC. So Ty Wheeler will sign with us in baseball tomorrow. And then I see the... No, another one's going to another school.
Oh, okay. As pitches inside, got away from Hayden Williams. Fastball on the inside corner, and that allows Oglesby to go to third. Pitch was on the inside. I mean, the catcher got a hand of it, so it's got to be a pass ball.
Yep.
So that pass ball on Hayden Williams allows Oglesby to get to third. Still nobody out. McGregory with a 3-2 count here in the top of the fourth. There's strike 3 called. And, boy, I'll tell you what, old Nick Brooks is.
He's battling.
He is. That's 5 strikeouts on the afternoon, all brought to you by the Pit Stop.
And that's what you look for out of a pitcher. I mean, you want a guy that's scrappy to come out here and guy doubles, advance on the pass ball. Don't get rattled. Just come back and throw pitches, get the next guy out, and get out of this inning without any damage done.
And with our pitching being thin anyway, we need Brooks to continue to pitch and pitch well at this level. We don't need to go to the bullpen unless necessary because, of course, we've got the big doubleheader on Saturday coming up at East Mississippi. The 1-0 showing bunt, and it's to third, and the one play only over to first. And so a sacrifice, a safety squeeze there by Corey O'Brien allows Oglesby to score, give him an RBI, and a sacrifice bunt brought to you by the Baptist Student Union. Chris Burrows and his folks would like to remind all of us of the ultimate sacrifice made on our behalf. So it's 6-2 now. And the first pitch swinging, ground ball up the middle, but Luke Gibbs has it, fires over to first to take care of T.J. Knowles, and that takes care of Coahoma in the top of the fourth. The Tigers get a run on a hit. There were no errors, and no one was left. We played 3.5, and ICC leads Coahoma 6-2. Alongside Adam Gore, I'm Will Kohlmeyer. We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. ICC leads Coahoma 6-2. It'll be the number 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Butler, Williams, and Johnson facing the right-hander, King. Showing bunt, pulling the trigger back is Gable Butler. 1-0 the count. Butler had a sacrifice fly his first time up. That was part of a 2-run second inning. Then, of course, the Indians got 4 more last inning on a grand slam by Gill. This one's fouled down the third base line. 1-1 the count. We talked about Tyler Wheeler. Ty is leading Tupelo High in hitting at .368, having a fine senior campaign for the Golden Wave, and he'll be signing with the good guys tomorrow at Tupelo High School. That pitch is inside, and the count is now 2-1 the count with nobody out here in the fourth inning. Butler sends one to deep left field, back on his horse, and not being able to catch up to it is Lindsey. It's going to be a stand-up double for Butler, and Gable Butler has had 2 quality at-bats here this afternoon. Adam?
Absolutely, and that's what Gable gives us. You know, Rick, whenever we signed him this year, he said he's going to be one of those guys that can come in, play a good outfielder spot, can give you some bat with some pop, but he's a guy, he said he's a base hitter guy. He said, you know, he's going to be able to get you get on base and lead off spot and drive in runs with guys in front of him, and perfectly good shot of it that time right there is that double just got over his head. Unfortunately, though, just didn't have anybody in front of him.
No, that's exactly right. Gable Butler, who had a sac fly, nearly knocked one out of the ballpark his first time up. And then gets the double with nobody out here to lead off the bottom of the fourth. That's Butler's 3rd double of the year, and that ribby earlier in the game was his 8th run batted in on that sac fly back in the second. Here is the right-handed hitting Bryce Williams, the second baseman out of Ridgeland, just north of the capital city area. Showing bunt, bunts it foul straight back. 0-1 the count.
Yeah, Bryce is another one of those guys that started the season, his bat was on fire, but kind of cooled off from that spot. But, you know, he's doing what you need a second baseman to do. Plays solid over there at second. He can get on base. He provides a lot of speed when he gets on there as well. So it'll be a really good time right now for him to sort of wake those bats back up as well.
Yeah, he lined sharply to Brown at second base back in the second. Bryce's batting average has dipped to .229, no home runs, 7 runs batted in. But he does have a .315 on-base percentage. And as you mentioned, Adam, a nice glove out at second base. The runner is going curveball, and the throw down to third is not in time, and a stolen base by Gable Butler. And Butler with the steal, his 3rd of the year in 4 attempts.
Yeah, got a good pitch to steal on, too. Of course, the curveball takes a little bit longer to get to the plate. Good throw, and did a good job of holding on to the bases. He's had a strong slide through.
So now Williams at the plate. Bryce, that is, pitches high. 2-1 the count.
2 balls, 1 strike.
2 balls, 1 strike to Bryce Williams with Johnson on deck. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. It's 6-2 ICC.
Low and outside that time for ball 3.
Okay.
3-1 the count.
I go to concession stand and Logan comes up here.
So 3-1 the count. That pitch is low and outside. Ball 4, and a nice job by Bryce Williams. As we've got runners at the corners with nobody out here in the 4th. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Russ Johnson. And ICC, let's try to get a few more runs on the board, and maybe let's try to make this one only go 5 innings.
Absolutely. May see a little double steal action going on right here. Coach Collier likes to be a little bit more aggressive than we see him in years past on the bases. He's got 2 burners on there now.
Here's Russ Johnson. He got a base hit his last time up, and he had the bunt safety squeeze on, and it's fouled. 0-1 the count. Of course, the other day we never really played with the lead on Saturday, so you couldn't be as aggressive. But you're right, with the 6-2 lead, Rick is definitely playing with the lead and being more aggressive at his third base coaching spot. Of course, Justin Bryant is coaching first for ICC. This one's popped up out of play to the right of us, and it's 0-2 the count with nobody out here in the 4th.
Or you can just do like UT Martin's women's softball team last night and have a walk-off steal of home for a 3-2 win over Ole Miss.
I did see that. I think I saw the tweet that last night.
Yes, it's special.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's a sharp hit grounder in the hole, and it's going to be off the glove of a diving shortstop O'Brien, and an RBI single by Russ Johnson allows Butler to score from third. Bryce Williams stops at second, and Russ Johnson is 2 for 2 on the afternoon, and it's now 7-2 Itawamba.
Absolutely good job by Russ that time. He's a second-generation Indian. His daddy played baseball here. So, that's going to make Dad proud right there to see him help push across the run for the good guys.
And that was the importance of that steal as well, because Butler stole third, and that allowed him to score easily on that play. So here, with runners at first and second, we go to the top of the order, and Luke Gibbs. And had ideas of the bunt, pulled the trigger back, and a strike called on the outside corner. 0-1 the count.
Yeah, good job pulling that one back that time. I thought it was a little low and outside, but the plate umpire saw it otherwise.
It's 7-2. Nobody out. Bottom of the 4th. ICC leads this one. We've scored now in 3 straight frames after getting struck out all 3 batters in the bottom of the 1st. So we have bounced back. This one's bunt foul by Gibbs, and it's now 0-2 the count.
Yeah, Gibbs really frustrated with himself on that. When you tell the last second he decided to commit to the bunt and foul that one off for strike 2.
Gibbs, who had a gift his last time up, popped one up on the infield. The third baseman, Rappa, got it lost in the sun. It dropped for a single. A couple batters later, after a Wheeler base hit, Gill hit the grand slam. Gibbs is 1 for 2 on the day. Showed the bunt, pulled back the trigger. At 1-2 the count. Even with 2 strikes, that might have been, if nothing else, just a little decoy. Try to
make him think about it a little bit and try to do a little too much with the pitch.
Exactly. You can tell Gibbs, he's got that tremendous family tree, doesn't he? That pedigree.
Absolutely.
His granddad, former All-American, 2-sport All-American at Ole Miss, Jake Gibbs.
Is in attendance today.
Jake is in the house?
Yes.
I need to see him, and haven't seen Jake in a while. This one's popped up. Get out of play, and it will. And the count is now 1-2 still to Luke Gibbs. Jake Gibbs' grandson, of course. Jake had some wonderful years with the New York Yankees.
They know a little bit thing about baseball up in New York.
Yes, they won a few championships, haven't they? Count remains 1-2 the count with nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. Drew Wheeler is on deck. ICC leads at 7-2. We'll have both games of the doubleheader this afternoon here on FM 95 Sports. Curveball is high and outside. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, I think they were anticipating seeing the Indians try to steal on that last pitch as it was a little pitch out. As you see, the catcher jumped up ready to throw, but no one going as Bryce sort of just trotted back to second.
They're in at the corners, playing deep up the middle against Gibbs, who hits from the left side. The redshirt freshman out of Oxford, reverse transfer from Ole Miss. There's a grounder to the right side. O'Brien to second for one. The relay is not in time. So Brown, I beg your pardon, flipped it over to O'Brien, the shortstop, to get the force on Russ Johnson. And Gibbs reaches on the fielder's choice.
That was a good slide by Johnson that time. He didn't slide into the shortstop covering, but he forced him to throw from his side. He didn't allow him to step into it, so he slid into the base nicely, had the arms extended to sort of, I guess you say, kind of like in a basketball type deal, make a tight passing lane. So did a good job of using his body to take away that, or make it a little bit more difficult on that double play.
So that keeps the inning alive and gives Drew Wheeler an at-bat. The runner goes on the first pitch, the fastball over the head of Wheeler, and diving in safely is Bryce Williams. So he scores on the wild pitch. The runner Gibbs was off with the pitch, so we give him a stolen base. But the wild pitch allows Bryce Williams to score, and it's now 8-2 ICC.
Good job that time by Bryce. Got a good jump on it once he saw the pitch was high and wild, and did a good job of just hustling the whole way down. That's what you got to do, take advantage of those type situations and make them pay for their mistakes.
Well, you're exactly right, because that was a fastball. It was high, and it bounced right off the brick that goes from dugout to dugout, and so that made that play pretty close, but diving in safely was Bryce Williams. There's a strike called. Of course, some of the folks that have never been here to Roy Crescent Field, it's got that Wrigley Field look to it. We've got the brick from third base dugout to the first base dugout. Real nice look here at Roy Crescent Field. Ballpark looks beautiful as always. Here's the 1-1 pitch in the dirt. 2-1 the count to Drew Wheeler with one out here in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, you got to think that catcher behind the plate has got to be give out. He's done a lot of jumping and diving and trying to get to wild pitches, and that's what you typically get when you have a curveball pitcher. So, you sort of saw him throw it back and take a little bit of time getting behind the plate.
Yeah, he's going to have some bruises after this one. There goes the runner. Gibbs, he's going to try to steal third. The throw is not in time, and so Luke Gibbs steals second, steals third. And as we check the numbers on Gibbs, he now has a team best 8 stolen bases this year in 12 attempts. So now we've got a runner at third with only 1 out. There's a lot of ways you can score. Drew Wheeler at the plate, pops one up. It'll drift out of play to the left of us here in the ICC Alumni Association broadcast booth. And the count is full at 3-2. Gill is on deck. Ethan had that grand slam back in the third inning. This one's popped up on the infield. Right side, Brown calling for it, and he will make the catch about halfway between his second base position and the mound. And there's 2 outs. And Drew Wheeler was not allowed, could not bring in Luke Gibbs from third on that at bat. So Gibbs stays at third, and here's the third baseman for ICC, Ethan Gill.
Yeah, and that hit right there shows how difficult that sky is today. You saw the pitcher looking up, trying to call everybody off, and then just ducked his head and walked away from it, saying, "I have no clue where this thing is."
Let's see what Gill can do here. Had that grand slam his last time up, struck out his first time up. That pitch is high and inside. 1-0 count. It is 8-2 ICC. Scored 2 in the second, 4 in the third, and 2 more here in the fourth. Curveball is low. And it's 2-0 the count. The runner at third is Gibbs. Strike called.
Pitch.
Close.
Close. May have, if he had an extended golf swing, might have been pretty good.
King gets the sign. Fastball is high. 3-1 the count.
They're not giving Gill anything decent to swing at. They're trying to jam him inside and get him to chase something on the outside.
Here's the 3-1. Strike 2 called. And the count is now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. With 2 outs here in the fourth. Andy Bowman is on deck for Itawamba. Gill does not wear the batting gloves, and he laces one into right field, a base hit, and that's what you call picking up Drew Wheeler. And ICC adds another run. How about Gill, who sends a towering grand slam over the left center field wall his last time up, and then this time goes to right with the base hit, hits a rope to right, and it's now 7-2.
That was a good at bat. You know, he was patient, fouled a couple off, did a good job of battling, and then finally just squeezed it through the hole over there and pushed across the run.
I said 7. I meant 9-2. I beg your pardon. Here's Andy Bowman, the first baseman. He swings and fouls this one straight back. 0-1 the count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, I'll tell you, Andy gave one a ride down at Holmes that bounced off the top of the scoreboard. Actually dented the scoreboard.
He's been on that kind of tear. That batting average now right at 390 on the year. Got a base hit and scored in the second. Struck out his last time up.
He's hit.
And he got hit by a curveball there. And that'll help out that on-base percentage for Andy Bowman, which starting today was 494, so it's over 500 now on the year.
Now let's give credit to Bowman. I mean, a guy that's been at the tear at the plate, swinging the bat the way he is, could have easily just ducked that knee out of the way and got to swing the bat again, but instead stayed in there, took it right off that lower part of the thigh to be able to get the free pass on base. So, you know, that's team play right there.
That's right. And here comes Matt Killebrew. We might have our first call to the bullpen. It looks like we will have a Predator Pest Control pitching change here in the bottom of the 4th. Wilco Meyer along with Adam Gore back here in Fulton, and our first Predator Pest Control pitching change of the afternoon. It'll be right-hander Rob Brigham. Brigham is from McClymonds, California. From Cali to Clarksdale.
That is...
Could be a song or something there somewhere.
Yeah. He's slightly far from home.
Yes. Big right-hander. So Brigham replaces C.J. King, who goes 3 2/3 innings. Started the day with a pretty impressive ERA, a 1-2 record, but a 3.72 ERA. But that ERA will be roughed up a bit here today, as the Indians have scored 9. And the runners at first and second, Gill at second, Bowman at first, are his responsibility. So Brigham, his first batter that he'll face is the right-handed hitting catcher Hayden Williams for ICC. Williams had a RBI double to score Bowman the first run of the game for ICC back in the second, then grounded out to the shortstop last inning. And there's a little off speed, took a little something off of that one, and swing and a miss by Williams, 0-1 the count.
Yeah, you sort of tell by just his presence on the mound. He's one of those junk pitchers, I guess you can say. Guy, you're going to see a lot of different pitches, a lot of different angles, and you have to be on top of things here whenever he's on the mound.
Brigham gets the sign, checks the runners. Low and inside, 1-1 the count. And I mean, when he bends over looking at that sign, I mean, it's like that's a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
His back is with the leg. I mean, he really peers in there and bends over. Here's the 0-1 to the right-handed hitting Hayden Williams in the bottom of the 4th with runners at first and second. Curveball is high.
You just tell by his motion. I mean, it's nothing fluid. It's just a herky-jerky motion. So you can know what he's pitching because he's different delivery whenever he throws fastball, curveball, but it's hard to pick up on where he's delivering it from.
Hayden hitting .417 starting the day. That fastball runs in on him. 3-1 the count. Hayden Williams with that RBI double back in the second. His first double of the year. He's driven in now 10 on the season. 9-2. ICC leads it here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Runners at first and second. And Hayden Williams has a hitter's count at 3-1. Pop up. Left side into short left field, and making the catch is O'Brien, and that takes care of Hayden Williams and the Indians in the 4th. But ICC sends 8 to the plate, and we get 3 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors, and we left 2. We've played 4, and ICC leads Coahoma 9-2. James Puckett is our photographer. If you're watching our video streaming of our radio broadcast at LetsGoICC.com, Tina Harlow, our studio engineer. We go to the 5th inning. It's 9-2 ICC over Coahoma. And Nick Brooks out to pitch again for ICC. And in the top of the 5th, he will face the number 9 1 and 2 hitters. That's Caleb Lindsay, Luis Colon, and Mario Brown.
Yeah, we're able to keep Brooks out there. As we said, he's kind of struggled from time to time today, but he's been able to get out of jams. But the bats have been there for him today, putting 9 runs on the board, 9-2 lead. Speaking of that, we got a Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. We've already seen the number 10 team in the nation lose today. Well, right now, Northwest over the number 5 team in the nation in East Mississippi, 9-1 in the bottom of the 3rd.
There's a base hit down the third base line. It's going to be extra bases for Lindsay. So a stand-up double to start this top of the 5th. For Lindsay and Coahoma. So, yes, these rankings almost gives these other teams a little extra motivation. Speaking of rankings, ICC Spotlight brought to you by First National Bank in Pontotoc. We've got one of our spring sports that was ranked today. We'll tell you about who that is right after this pitch to Louise Colon, the leadoff hitter. Ball upstairs. And the Lady Indians softball team among the top 20.
Absolutely, coming in at number 19 today. This is the first poll of the day. LSU Eunice leading the spot, and 35-1. And number 2 is Jones County, a team that Lady Indians gave a pretty good game to. They're at 26-0.
There's the steal attempt to third, and getting thrown out is Hayden Williams, down 9-2. Caleb Lindsay tries to steal third, and Hayden Williams to Gill guns him down. And so there's now 1 out with a 1-1 count.
We talked about Zach Randolph watching earlier, a former ICC catcher from Amory. Probably put a little smile on his face there, seeing another Amory guy doing well.
Absolutely, and Hayden, he's throwing out his share of base runners this year. And, boy, I tell you what, when you're down 9-2 and you're going to try to steal third, you better make sure you get it. There's a 2-hopper to Gill. He throws a rope right over to first base to Bowman for the second out of the inning to take care of Louise Colon. And that'll bring up the second baseman, Mario Brown, with 2 outs. Nobody on here in the 5th with ICC leading 9-2.
Mario Brown.
And I see Kim Williams here today shooting some pictures, part of our community relations department. And I understand they've got they're listening and watching at LetsGoICC.com. So special shout out to the other members of our team.
Maggie Caldwell, Dr. Bunch, Amy, well, she changed her last name recently.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get a little married action. Mark Brown, former Indian from ICC. Yes, so she's now Amy Moore Brown.
And then you've got Mark Todd and Jim Ingram.
That's right. And Mark, by the way, will be my guest in between games. Pitches outside, 2-1 the count. Every time we have our in-between games, the doubleheader is brought to you by the ICC Foundation, an interview in between the 2 games. And today we'll have alumni director Mark Todd joining me. There's a curveball and a strike, and the count is even at 2-2 with 2 outs to the left-handed hitting second baseman, I should say, Mario Brown. There's a bouncer up the middle. Gibbs behind the bag, fires over to first, and that takes care of Coahoma, a 3-up and 3-down inning, even though you had a double to lead off the inning. But Williams throws out Lindsay trying to steal third. Put another donut up on the scoreboard over the left center field wall. That donut brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop here in downtown Fulton. We go to the bottom of the 5th, and it's all ICC leading Coahoma 9-2. We head to the bottom of the 5th, and ICC leads Coahoma in game 1 of the doubleheader 9-2. It'll be the number 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Austin Welch, Gable Butler, and Bryce Williams facing Brigham. And there's a strike called, 0-1 the count to Austin Welch. He's 0 for 2 today. Popped up to the first baseman, McGregory, in the second, then flew out to the right fielder, Knowles, to end the third. 1-1 the count to Welch. Starting the day hitting at .293. The sophomore from Hamilton High School has driven in 9. fact, in one of our broadcasts, he was our Sonic star or co-stars of the game after he drove in 3 runs in that first game up at Northeast a couple Saturdays ago. Pitches in the dirt, 2-1 the count. We got a lot of events coming up at ICC, brought to you by First National Bank in Pontotoc, and we'll start running through some of those in the next inning or two. Indians lead it 9-2. Pitches inside. 3-1 the count to the right-handed hitting DH Austin Welch. We've got the Phi Theta Kappa induction ceremony for new members who have joined. And there's a fly ball to left field, down the left field line, and it's going to be extra bases for Austin Welch. And Welch leads off with a double down the left field line to start the inning here in the bottom of the 5th, with ICC leading 9-2. And Chris Burrows from the Baptist Student Union and his folks doing a nice job. As
coffee and hot chocolate at the end of the inning.
And of course, when we think about the BSU and that concession stand, they always have the burgers, the hot dogs, but they also today, with a little cooler temps, hot chocolate and coffee. So I know we got some folks that have brought their headsets to the ballpark today, so in case they're hearing that. And of course, we'll announce it over the public address in between innings. Here's the left-handed hitting Gable Butler, and he bunts one back to the mound. Brigham throws it, not in time. So a bunt single for Gable Butler, and that puts runners at first and third.
Bryce Williams.
And that'll bring up the second baseman, Bryce Williams, for ICC. So the Indians already up 9-2. We've got runners at the corners, Adam, and nobody out.
3's our magic number.
Yes, good point.
3's our magic number. So, Bryce, you can go ahead and pack it up early here with a long ball. But, you know, not thinking that. Let's just string them together here and get some runs.
So Brigham will check the runners at first and third. And the pitch to the right-handed hitting Bryce Williams in the dirt. Nice job by Ross. That thing short-hopped him. But that keeps the runner Welch at third and the runner Butler at first.
Yeah, and the home plate umpire doing a good job patting him on the head, because Ross doesn't make that play. That's popping up and hitting the umpire. So good job showing him some love.
1-0 the count to Williams. He walked and scored his last time up. Lined sharply to the second baseman his first time up. That pitch, a little off speed, catching the inside corner. 1-1 the count. We talked about the Phi Theta Kappa induction ceremony for new members for not only our chapter here on the Fulton campus, but also the Tupelo campus. It'll be tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the W.O. Benjamin Fine Arts Center auditorium on our Fulton campus. The speaker will be Dr. Adana Nail, instructor of economics and business here at ICC. The public is invited to attend. There's a swing and a miss, trying to steal second, and safe. And a double steal as Welch, once the throw went down, he steals home. So a double steal by the Indians. And Rick Collier keeping the pedal on the metal, as why not keep forcing the issue?
Absolutely. You know, that's what we thought we would see earlier in the game. And that time Rick may have watched the delay broadcast and heard me say that and say, hey, you know what, that's not a bad idea.
You've had some good ideas again today, Gore. So
every once in a while.
You know, there's a liner. Oh, what a catch by the third baseman, and they double up Butler at second. Boy, Bryce Williams hit it hard. I was getting ready to say a base hit to left, but Rappa just stabs it at third, so a line drive, and then he fires over to the second baseman, and that doubles up Butler. Butler had no chance, and it wasn't exactly like he was well off the bag, but that's a double play. The first of the afternoon, brought to you by Pisons here in Fulton. Give Stan the Pizza Man a call tonight at 862-4000. And there's a curveball and a strike called. 10-2, ICC leads it here in the bottom of the 5th. But now with 2 outs, here's Russ Johnson, who is 2 for 2 on the afternoon. The former Hatley Tiger has roared here this afternoon with a base hit and scored in the third, and they got an RBI single last inning. But he's 0-2 the count. He's got to guard the dish here with 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the 5th. ICC needs 2 runs to end it after 5. And Johnson lifts one foul down the third baseline, way out of play.
That would have been 1 run if it had been fair, because he gave that one a ride. And I tell you, it got up in a hurry and up in the taller part of the pine trees in foul territory.
Count remains 0-2 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. ICC leads it 10-2. Trying to bounce back after getting swept Saturday by first place Delta. And there's a squibber right to third. The throw from Rappa is in time to get Ross Johnson, and that takes care of the Indians in the 5th. But Coahoma gets a run on 2 hits. There were no errors and no one was left. After 5, it's ICC leading Coahoma 10-2. Alongside Adam Gore, I'm Will Kohlmeyer. We're back to Roy Crescent Field. We're heading to the top of the 6th. And ICC is in control, leading 10-2. Brooks still on the mound for the Indians. First pitch, low and outside to Hudson Ross. It'll be the number 3, 4, and 5 hitters facing the right-hander Brooks here in the 6th. That's Ross, Rappa, and Oglesby. There's a strike called. 1-0 the count. Oglesby has been the one Tiger that's been able to figure out Brooks for the most part here today. That home run by Oglesby back in the 2nd gave the Indians at that time a 1-0 deficit. There's a stab by Gill as that had extra bases written all over it down the third base line. A sharp one-hopper. Gill dove toward the bag, got up, and threw a strike over to first to get Hudson Ross for the first out.
Yeah, that'd be one if that was done in the big leagues. Would be Web Jam at the end of the night on the MLB Network. Great job by the big man that time, showing he's got good range to play the hot corner over there. Made the snap, grab, and didn't rush the throw. Did a good job of coming over, collecting himself, and making the easy throw.
First pitch is a ball inside to Rappa, and you're right. Anytime we have a web gem, a defensive play, that's brought to you by the National Guard, one of our new sponsors this year for ICC baseball here on FM 95 Sports. There's a strike called to Rappa with Oglesby on deck. 1 out here in the 6th. ICC leads it 10-2.
Well, I got a Trustmark Bank scoreboard update as that pitch was high for a ball. How about this? 14-1 Rangers over number 5 East Mississippi in the bottom of the 3rd.
Wow. That'll make things interesting here in the North.
Yeah, this Northwest team's a good team because they're the only team that has beat Jones this season.
There's strike 3. A swing and a miss to Rappa, and another strikeout brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue here in Fulton, located right across the street from our Student Services building, the David C. Cole Student Services building, and that for Brooks is his 6th strikeout of the afternoon.
I mean, you go back and look at Brooks' stats in this game. They're going to be impressive, but he's done it quietly. You know, he hasn't done anything flashy. He hasn't really been dominant. He's just come up and threw the ball, and they've gotten hits off of him, but he's also relied a lot on his defense today to step up for him in the clutch.
Yeah, no doubt. He has really done exactly what Rick Collier has wanted. There's a sharp single to left, and that's the only guy that's been able to figure out Nick Brooks. Oglesby is now 3 for 3 against Brooks. He had a home run in the 2nd, a double, and he scored in the 4th, and now a single.
Let's hope we don't see him again.
No, we don't want to see him. That means that they'll have a lot of...
And he's a triple away from the cycle.
That's exactly right. And that's the first single of the afternoon off of Brooks. They had the home run by Oglesby. They had a triple by Brown, a double by Oglesby, then a double last inning by Lindsey. So that's the 5th hit of the afternoon and the first single. All the other 4 have been extra base hits. But we've been able to scatter them, has Nick Brooks. There's a swing and a miss. 0-1 the count with 2 outs and Oglesby at first. Tay McGregory at the plate. He walked in the second, then was caught looking for, at that time, was the 5th strikeout of the afternoon by Brooks. Brooks will check the runners. Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. Nick Brooks is a possible candidate for our Sonic Star of the game. Brought to you by the Sonic Drive-In in Fulton. Of course, you've got Gill's grand slam offensively for ICC. We've got several to choose from. Butler has a sac fly, a double, a base hit. He's stolen a couple bases. And there's strike 3, another swing and a miss, and another strikeout. The 7th of the afternoon for Brooks, brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 was left. That means you put another donut on the scoreboard here, and that brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton, the only place in Itawamba County where you can get freshly made donuts served daily. That's Sweet Cheeks here in Fulton. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Itawamba up 10-2. Amory, it'll be the top of the order for the Indians, leading 10-2 here in the bottom of the 6th. And the first pitch to Gibbs is a called strike. Lucas scored a couple runs here this afternoon, struck out in the first, got a base hit in the 3rd, came around to score, then reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th, stole 2nd, stole 3rd, and came in on an Ethan Gill 2-out single. It's 10-2 Itawamba here in the bottom of the 6th. Game 1 of 2 here on FM 95 Sports. On deck is Wheeler. Gill is in the hole. Curveball and a bender, and it's a beauty. It's 1-2 the count to Luke Gibbs. Gibbs now with those 2 runs scored today has 10 on the year. He's 19 of 74 at the plate. Has a home run. He's driven in 15. That's now 2nd best on the team. This one's fouled out of play. As Gill's grand slam gives him 17 now on the season. Don't forget, you can stay up to date with events college-wide on our Twitter account at ItawambaCC. That's an ICC Spotlight brought to you by First National Bank in Pontotoc. There's strike 3, a fastball catching the inside corner, and Gibbs is struck out.
Yeah, in a 10-2 ball game, that's a strike. In a 2-2 ball game, that's a ball. One of those where the umpire knows this was pretty much no longer in doubt, so trying to speed things along here.
There you go. That's the first strikeout of the afternoon for Brigham. Brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue here in Fulton. Here's Drew Wheeler. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored here in game 1. He was hit by a pitch, a little curveball.
Well, he started to duck out of the way and then remembered, hey, wait, I can stay in this thing and take it off the arm here. It's not coming too hard, and get a free pass on the base.
That's exactly right, and I'll tell you what, that's for Drew Wheeler. 3rd time he's been hit this year. Gill leads the team starting the day with 5 hit by pitches.
4 times in the series against Northeast.
That's exactly right. Pitches low and outside. 1-0 the count. It's 10-2 Itawamba here in the bottom of the 6th. Gill, he's a candidate for our Sonic Star of the game, brought to you by the Sonic Drive-In in Fulton. Had a grand slam in the 3rd. Had an RBI single in the 4th.
I'll tell you what, if he hits a home run here, let's go ahead and call him player of the game.
That sounds good. Gill hits from the right side with Andy Bowman on deck. There goes the runner. Fastball is high, and the ball bobbled by Ross. I'm not sure they would have been able to get Wheeler, but Wheeler gets a stolen base. So I'm telling you what, Rick is liking to be in front. Of course, you can be more aggressive when you're in front, but we have stolen our share of bases here this afternoon.
Absolutely, and as you said, that's one thing Rick has done. He's gotten a lot more aggressive, and he knows he's going to have to start scoring a lot of runs to try to get back in the hunt for the playoffs.
That's now 5 steals this year for Wheeler and 6 attempts for the former Trooper from Morville. That curveball is high. 3-0 the count to Gill. First base is open. And the way Gill has been tearing it up this year, I'd just go ahead and just give him first. He's hitting .377 starting the day, so it's probably close to .390 now. He has 3 home runs. He's driven in 17. That on-base percentage is over 540 now, and there is ball 4 inside. And now we've got runners at first and second with only one out, and here's Andy Bowman.
Yeah, Gil for a little fun that time just showed bunt, waiting for the pitch, as obviously the red light was on.
Here's Bowman. Adam, I know every Monday morning you have to gather information from baseball and softball and nominate our players for the MAC-JC Player and Pitcher of the Week, and Bowman was a tremendous candidate after his week a week ago. Unfortunately, came up just short in getting the statewide honor this week. Pitch is low, and now the runner is caught off of second. Now he'll try to go to third, and he's gunned down. And Gill goes to second. So Ross, threw behind Wheeler at second.
I actually thought they missed the tag on that. I thought Wheeler was safe, so umpire obviously had a better angle than I did.
So 2-4-5 on the putout to Wheeler. Gill does get into scoring position on the throw. So we've got 2 outs, a runner in scoring position. ICC still up 10-2. See what Bowman can do here. He waves at an off-speed pitch.
Yeah, decided a little too late to pull the trigger on that one.
So 1-1 the count to Andy Bowman with Hayden Williams on deck. Bowman today is 1 for 2 officially. Got a base hit and scored in the second. Struck out in the third and was hit by a pitch in the fourth. That was the last batter that King faced. Brigham came in relief, and he's the first time he's seen Bowman, and now Brigham has to step off the rubber. And the runner, Gill, gets back to second. ICC has scored in 5 straight innings after getting the side struck out in the bottom of the first. Bowman, curveball outside, 2-1 the count. Indians scored 2 in the second, 4 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and now we're in the bottom of the sixth. We haven't scored yet in this frame, leading 10-2. Hayden Williams is on deck. Brigham checks the runner. Pitch is low. 3-1 the count. Don't forget April 1st, fast approaching. That's the deadline for application for ICC's health programs. For more information, visit ICC's website at iccms.edu. That's what's coming up at ICC, brought to you by First National Bank in Pontotoc. Here's the 3-1. Now Brigham will step off the rubber, and we'll reset. Here's the 3-1. Ball 4 low, and Andy Bowman. We talked about it earlier. He even talked about it on the post-game report. He was our Sonic Star of the game after Game 2 Saturday, and he said the baseball just looks like a beach ball coming up there. And usually if you and I, we're in that kind of streak, we're just trying to hit
away,
yes.
And I'm seeing how far I can hit one.
But not Andy Bowman.
You know, Rick was really big on him whenever he was recruiting him, knew he was going to be a key piece of the puzzle this season, and he's proved it. I mean, he's come out and played outstanding this year, and I know he's starting to get a lot of Division I looks, maybe just one of these one-and-done guys here for the Indians this season.
Yeah, I think he probably will be. He's got the grades, obviously, and he steps off the rubber again as Brigham, and the way he's hitting that ball, he's been on base 3 more times today. And that on-base percentage started the day at 494, so it's way over 500. First pitch is high and inside to Hayden Williams. Bowman was your Rick's Pick to Click. Hayden Williams was my Rick's Pick to Click, brought to you by Rick's Barbecue in Fulton. Williams today 1 for 3, an RBI double in the second. At that time, it tied the game at 1 apiece. Coahoma actually jumped out to a 1-0 lead here. There's a fly ball into center field. Coming on and making a diving catch was Cologne out in center, and that takes care of ICC in the 6th inning as the Indians do not score a run. No hits. There were no errors, and 2 were left. We go to the 7th inning, and ICC leads it 10-2. Alongside Adam Kohler, I'm Will Kohlmeyer. Here in Fulton, we head to the top of the 7th. ICC leads at 10-2 over Coahoma. And we have our first Predator Pest Control pitching change of the afternoon for ICC, that is, as Nick Brooks goes 6 innings, gives up just those 2 runs. And it'll be Michael Hensley coming in to try to close the door here in the 7th. And Hensley will face the number 7, 8, and 9 hitters, O'Brien, Knowles, and Lindsay.
Real quick, Will, want to give a shout-out to Amy Bailey watching. Said she can't make it out the game to support Luke, but glad to be able to watch the games here at LetsGoICC.com.
Oh, I tell you what. That is what it's all about. If you can't make it, we try to provide access to watch the good guys. Hensley's first pitch is high and upstairs, so 1-0 the count to O'Brien. He walked his first time up, then had a squeeze bunt to score the second run of the game for Coahoma. That was back in the 4th. So really, O'Brien's been to the plate twice, but does not have an official plate appearance. Here's the 2-0, low, 3-0 the count. Hensley making his 3rd appearance of the year. He's 0-1, has a 7.11 earned run average. He's tossed 6 1/3 innings, given up 10 hits, 7 runs, 5 earned, and there's ball 4 inside. And that's not what you want when you have a 10-2 lead.
No.
Just throw strikes.
So just put it over the plate, let your defense take care of it, and let's call this one a game.
Hensley has struck out 3 in 6 1/3, and that is his 7th walk of the year. He's given up a couple home runs. And as I mentioned, an 0-1 record with a 7.11 earned run average. And here is T.J. Knowles. There's a strike called. Hensley 5'7", 165, a freshman from Tupelo. Also can do some catching. And Rick Collier, I know we're thin in the pitching. And this one's fouled straight back. 0-2 the count to Knowles. He's 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Just got to try to somehow piece this doubleheader together and still save, for the most part, maybe Brady can throw and TJ maybe an inning to in between games, but you got to have them ready to go Saturday at East Mississippi. Curveball by Hensley. That one just misses. That's 10-2 in the top of the 7th. I thought that might get called.
That right there should sit the young man down and be out closer to getting out of here.
Hensley, the right-hander, will check the runner. Throwing sidearm, ground ball sharply hit the 3rd. Gill to 2nd. Nope, it gets past the second baseman, Bryce Williams. And so Knowles reaches on the fielder's choice.
And I think the runner from 1st to 2nd got on Gill a little bit quicker than he anticipated, causing him to rush that throw and threw it away from Bryce, covering 2nd that time. And unfortunately for the Indians, couldn't turn 2. But, another opportunity to flip 2 here and try to get out of this inning with no damage done.
Caleb Lindsay, the left fielder, he is 1 for 2 on the afternoon, was caught looking. A strikeout to end the 2nd, and a leadoff double in the 5th, but then he tried to steal 3rd. At the time, it was 9-2, and Hayden Williams gunned him down. There's a foul ball, 0-1 the count. Hopefully, we're just a few moments away from our Dr. Mark Aiken and his veterinary services postgame report. This one's a pop-up, out of play. 0-2 the count.
Might be the first time we've ever had a vet. I know at least while I've been here.
First time in 10 years that I've been here at ICC. Dr. Mark Aiken stepped up to sponsor our postgame reports. Located there on Country Club Road in Tupelo. It's 100% equine practice dedicated to the treatment and care of the equine athlete.
Nice big breaking curveball out of Hensley that time to strike him out looking.
And that's the first strikeout of the afternoon for Hensley, brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue here in Fulton. 1 out now. Runners at 1st and 2nd. We go to the top of the order, and Luis Colon, the center fielder, who is 0 for 3. And there's a slow roller to 3rd. Gill will throw a strike to get Colon by maybe a half a step, and that's the 3rd time Colon has rolled to the 3rd baseman Gill, and there's now 2 outs here in the 7th. That allows O'Brien to go to third, and Knowles goes to second.
Mario Brown.
Yeah, and a good job by Gill that time. He had an opportunity to possibly turn 2 to end the game, but went ahead and got the for sure out. Said, hey, we've got 8 insurance runs on the board right now before they tie this one up. Let's go ahead and get this second out for sure in this situation.
Here's Brown, the left-handed hitting second baseman who tripled in the third. And he's 1 for 3. That fastball is upstairs. I think that was one of the critical points of the game. We had taken a 2-1 lead, and then they get a 1-out triple by Brown. But Brooks did not lose his cool at him. He got a couple outs by Ross and Rappa to get out of that inning, and then we just kept on tacking on runs.
Yeah, it kind of deflated Coahoma and really gave us a shot in the arm. We came in with a big 3-set behind that. Really sort of just got things rolling for the Indians, and they've never really looked back here in game 1. So hopefully, we can keep that momentum and get a sweep today.
2-1 the count with 2 outs. Hudson Ross is on deck. Curveball way outside. 3-1 the count. We'll talk with Rick Collier on our post-game report coming up. Get his thoughts. We'll also have your game summary brought to you by Weatherall Printing. And we'll announce who our Sonic star of the game is. In fact, we'll probably hear from him usually after a win. That's a ball 4 to Mario Brown, and the bases are now loaded. After a win, Rick Collier will bring up the Sonic star of the game, so we'll interview that person or persons. Sometimes Rick will bring up a couple players.
Tell you, it's going to be a tough choice. We've had a lot of guys come in today, step up and play big. As we talked about, Nick had a very good, gutsy performance on the mound today. Ethan swung a good bat. Bowman swung a good bat.
There's a little flare out into center field. It drops for a base hit. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. And so an RBI's 2-run single, I should say, by Hudson Ross. As that little C&I single scored O'Brien from third, scored Knowles from second. Brown goes from first to third, and it's now 10-4.
This is the first game that's hard to court.
2 outs, still plenty of breathing room right now, but we do want to go ahead and get this out. Don't give them any type of momentum to try to spark a rally, because great thing about baseball, no time limit, and you can, bat around, and, we've seen some crazy things out the ballpark, but hopefully today we won't see a 8-run rally here in the 7th.
No, we don't want to see that. And like you said, let's finish strong here. Save some pitching. Hensley right down Main Street. That's a strike called. With 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. It's the first frame that Coahoma has actually scored more than a run. They scored 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, and now 2 here in the 7th. We're 1 out away from advancing to 3 and 4. There's a curveball, swing and a miss. The throw down to second is in time as Williams collided with Ross, and that's an unusual way to end the game. And I think Bryce Williams is he's hurting.
It looked like the guy went to check up and check himself from running and kind of give him an inadvertent elbow to the cheek.
So an unusual way to end the game. Hayden Williams throws out another would-be stealer, and in the 7th, Coahoma gets 2 runs on 1 hit. There were no errors, and 1 was left. And ICC wins it 10-4. And as we begin our Dr. Mark Aiken Veterinary Services postgame report, Adam, I'm going to ask for a game summary brought to you by Weatherall Printing.
I'll tell you, Will, we had a really good performance on the mound today out of Nick Brooks. We talked about him, he ran into a little bit of trouble here and there, but he did a good job of battling back, coming up and get some outs when we needed them, get some flyouts, get some strikeouts. So Nick's played an outstanding job. So he did what he had to do on the mound, and the bats took care of the rest. We actually had some hits today, came up with some guys in scoring position, drove them around, and then, of course, you can't say enough about Ethan Gill's grand slam there in the 3rd that really sort of just put us over that hump. So an outstanding job today, both, on the mound, at the plate, and also the defense played well behind Nick to give him that confidence to be able to come out and sling it today.
That game summary brought to you by Weatherall Printing as ICC wins game 1 10-4. We're going to take a 2-minute